Hey everyone, I'm Jenny, and this is Digitally Twisted Review. Welcome back. Happy to have you here. So, today I'm going to be talking about Squid Games. So, this show has been popping up so much in my world lately. I feel like every time I go on the internet, I'm seeing articles talking about Squid Game. I'm seeing videos talking about Squid Game. It seems like it's really permeated all of popular culture right now. So I'm going to be kind of a harsh critic because I'm not usually too into super popular trendy shows, and especially not shows on Netflix. So I'm going into this kind of a little bit jaded toward Netflix shows. But I've been hearing so much about this show lately that I had to check it out. I've also been homesick this whole last week, hence why I sound so congested. And I figured, what better chance than to sit down, watch the show. It is 9 episodes long for season 1. So each episode is about an hour long, so that's 9 hours. So it's, it's not too much to get into, but it does take a little while. So being home all week gave me the perfect opportunity. So to start off, I've heard a lot of things about this show. I've heard that it's a horror, that it's a thriller, that it's really gory, that it has a lot of Illuminati themes in it. And I didn't really know what to expect going in. But I'll tell you right off the bat, I was incredibly pleasantly surprised with how good of a show this was. It really blew my mind, and I'm not going to give you spoilers because I do want you to watch it, but I will tell you, when I got to the end of this show, I just sat there throughout the entire credits, listening to the music, my heart's pounding in my chest, and just really contemplating what I had just watched. I read some interviews with the director of this show, and he talked about how he first came up with the idea for this show about over 10 years ago because of some hard times that he was going through in his own life, some debt that he was in. He had also been watching a lot of different animes and reading a lot of mangas that had survival games, and it kind of gave him the idea of, what if there was some sort of game out there that people could participate in, win a lot of money, and be able to pay off all of their debts? And he was like, you know what? Hey, I make movies. I'm going to make a movie about that. So he wrote it, and he pitched it to a bunch of different studios, and nobody wanted to pick it up because they thought that it just sounded too extreme, too gory. Nobody wanted to take a risk on it. In the meantime, he's done tons of other projects, built a name for himself, and finally a studio decided they wanted to pick up Squid Game now, make it, and it's out on Netflix. And honestly, I do not think that this show could have come out at a better time. If it had come out 10 years ago, I really don't think that it would have resonated with people as deeply and gotten to the level of popularity that it's able to today. With everything that we've gone through economically in the last 2 years, I think that so many people can identify with the characters in Squid Game and how they found themselves in the situation that they have. And that brings me to really like the depth of the characters in this show, and I loved it. Each one of these characters are built up so much. I mean, we're giving so much backstory on them. We're shown their flaws, their humanity, why they're in the situation that they're in. I mean, I'll be honest. When I watched the first episode, I really thought that the main character, who, I'm sorry if I butcher his name, I do not speak Korean. I do not even pretend to speak Korean. So, Gihan, the main character, who, by the way, phenomenal actor. Phenomenal. The range of emotion that he portrayed was amazing. Anyways, in the first episode, I thought he was an idiot. I really did. I was like, you know what? This guy, no wonder he's in debt. Every time he gets money, he just goes, gambles it away. He's creating his own situations. No wonder. Like, what an idiot. That was my initial thought. But as the story starts to evolve, and you learn more about his backstory and his struggles that he went through in life that brought him to the situation of episode 1, and also the struggles that all of the other characters have gone through to bring them to the point where they are in such bad debt that they decide that the only option they have is to participate in these games. I just applaud the writer for giving us so much backstory on these characters, for making us care about them so much, and being able to identify with the humanity that they bring. I mean, I myself, you know, I've been in my own financial struggles, and really everything that's happened in 2020 with the lockdowns due to COVID, it has put so many people in a situation where they feel like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do to be able to get out of this? And that's what we see with the characters in Squid Game. We see real people who, because of the situations that they have had happen to them in their life, whether through their own making or not, they have no other options. And I think that that's why this series has become just so popular. So many people can see a reflection of themselves in these characters. I've heard a lot of criticisms of Squid Game for being really gory, but honestly, yeah, there's blood, there's death all over the place. I'm not gonna lie, the first game that happens when we have half of the 456 participants wiped out, it was shocking. That was actually the scene right there. It was shocking. I was like, oh my gosh, you instantly feel for like what it would be like to be in that situation, experiencing that around you. But honestly, the level of gore being shown, I don't really think is any worse than what we see in most other forms of media. You know, my husband and my stepson, they play a lot of zombie video games. You know, we've seen a lot of other shows, war movies, and I wouldn't say that the level of gore in this show is really any worse than any of those other forms of entertainment. I can really only think of maybe 2 examples where we saw some dead bodies that it was, you know, a little bit more than just seeing some blood in a bullet hole. But again, nothing that you wouldn't see in a typical zombie video game, zombie show, zombie movie. Another thing that I really loved about this movie is you also get to see the humanity of the soldiers. So these guys in pink right here, so these are the soldiers. They're the ones that are running the games. They're all wearing masks. You have this idea that, you know, you have the people who are participating in the games. Yes, they're given numbers. You know, they're having their identity stripped away, given numbers. But honestly, I don't really think that's too much of a plot point because they all end up developing relationships with each other, and we learn all of their names. We learn all of their backstory. They call each other by their names. They don't call each other by their numbers. So I don't really think that the numbers are a dehumanizing aspect. And also with the soldiers. So the soldiers are all wearing masks. We're not supposed to know who they are. You also have the elite group who are running the games, and they're wearing masks as well. But something that's really cool that I like that the writers did with Squid Game is that you have a cop who basically infiltrates the games as one of these soldiers because he's searching for his missing brother. And so through the story of this cop who's infiltrated as one of the soldiers, we're also able to see the humanity on the side of the soldiers and who they are and what they're going through and their side of the story. So to us, the viewer, they're not really the nameless, faceless evil who they might be in the games to the people participating. And I thought that was a really cool point that the writer and the director put in there so that we're able to see kind of the humanity of everybody all around. Again, I think this is just a great series. I've been doing a lot of research about it as well. I was looking up some articles just to get a feel for like what people are saying about it. It does sound like they want to do a season 2. Not sure if I love that idea. It has a weird ending. I'm not going to tell you about it in this video at all because I want you to go watch it. It's definitely worth the 9-hour investment to watch this because of the insights it gives you into the economic situation that not just our country, but the whole globe is facing right now. So I think if there were to be a season 2, I would really honestly like to see a prequel, maybe something about how the games were established and what led us to the point that we see here in season 1. I think that would be a better direction than a continuation of the story. Something that I did find that was really cool in some interviews with the director, he was basically talking about his ideas. Let me pull up the article actually for you. So right here, they were asking him, so the question everyone must be asking you is, what's your theory for why Squid Game has become so popular all around the world? And I loved his response, particularly this part down here, and I'm going to read it to you. So he said, personally, he wanted to create a story that's very entertaining, something fun to watch, but it may be ironic because there's a lot of atrocities that happen in the story, but he wanted to create a story that will be immersive. He wanted the viewers who are watching Squid Game to start questioning themselves. How am I living my life? Who am I among these characters? And what kind of world am I living in? I wanted these questions to be asked. As you start watching, I want you to think, what kind of story is this? This is all too surreal. Then, as you watch more, you'll get attached to the characters, start cheering for them, and hating some others. And then eventually, you should have the experience of connecting it all to the real world that we're living in. And that way, you'll be able to draw some of the messages from the series. And I think he succeeded in that so immensely. That's how I felt. I was so engaged in this series. I couldn't stop watching it. I stayed up until almost 4 in the morning watching it, until I was falling asleep and was finally like, you know what, I better go to bed and finish watching it tomorrow. Because I was that immersed in this world, that invested into the story of these characters. And again, I applaud the director, I applaud the writers, I applaud all the actors. And I completely understand now why this series has catapulted in popularity. Why every time I go on my phone, pull up Google, I see numerous suggestions on articles for it. It really has a lot of lessons to teach people, to make them think about how they're living in the world and how the world is functioning around them. And I highly suggest that everybody go and watch it. And if you do watch it, if you have watched it, I'd love to hear your opinion on it below. Tell me what you think. And I'm definitely going to be doing more videos talking about other aspects of this because I think it's so worth talking about. I look forward to talking to you all next time. I'll see you later. Bye.